Hey, what's up everyone? This is Evan Carthy from evancarthy.com. Today we are going to look at the Andrews Pitchfork. Basically this is going to be somewhat of a beginner's guide. It's basically going to be how I use it, and I've incorporated it with my trading. I mean, overall, with the way pretty much every charting platform is today, you don't have to do too much work when you plot it, so it's not going to be all the ins and outs of how to plot it. It's pretty much all you do is put three dots on your charting platform, and voila, there is Andrews Pitchfork. But as always, if there's any stock, future, forex, crypto, or anything that's tradable you want to see me go over, feel free to let me know and I'll be glad to do it. So basically we're going to be using the NQ to go over this here. This is the NASDAQ futures for it. So basically how I use it, because what you want to do is you want to try to make sure you get decent pivot points to use for it. And so what works for me is I use Fibonacci retracement levels to set the anchor points for them. Let me show you what I'm talking about right here. So if we want to use this as the anchor point right here, as the pivot anchor point, I look for price to come back and hit the 76.4% Fibonacci retracement level. So if we come back over here using this pivot point right here, we're waiting for price to come back and hit the 76.4. Now it slightly missed that right there, so we'll go up one pivot point to right here, and using that low of that candle and that candle right there, that's going to be the pivot point low right here, and this is going to be the pivot point high. Then as you can see how price came down here at the 76.4% retracement level, that is going to be our swing point right there. So those are the 3 points we're going to use to draw the Andrews Pitchfork from. So I got down here on that hot bar right here, there's Andrews Pitchfork. So all you do, it's simple as one, clicking it once, clicking it twice, clicking it a third time. So that's all there is to drawing Andrews Pitchfork. That's how I draw it. There's many different ways you can decide which pivot points you want to use. You can use pivot point indicators, pivot point indicators, I mean anything you want to use. This is personally how I use it. You can use other Fibonacci retracement levels. You can use 38.2, 61.8, 50%, even though technically 50% is not a Fibonacci retracement level. You can use whatever you want. For me, the 76.4 works best right now. I started off using the 38.2, but after testing out for a while, I just like the way price moves off the 76.4. And so when I'm looking for a trend, because right now what this would be used for is looking for a trend. I'm seeing which way the price is going or whatever unit I'm trading. So that is using that pivot point low, high, there's a swing, 1, 2, 3, there goes the pivot point right there. And as you can see, price stayed in it pretty good, finally broke out of it, and that's probably it. Yeah, that's all it was until it created a new one up there. But as you can see, even some of the Fibonacci lines still become resistant levels or support. If you're going short on it, doesn't really matter. But typically when price breaks out of it, about, depending on how much it breaks out, it's probably, that move's probably done as far as that uptrend goes, and time to start looking for another one to draw it from. But not always. As you can see, it broke out a little bit, but still went back up and created a new high before it sold off again. So that is, let me show you, let me do it one more time. I'll do one more long, and then I'm going to do a short as well, because right now, like I said, this is just for discovering the trend. As you can see, it's easy to see which way the trend's going, but say you don't know which way it's going over here, so we'll just look at doing it like this over here. So taking that swing low, this swing high, here price comes down perfectly, hits the 76.4. Click the pitchfork tool. Let me highlight these again. There's the swing point low, here's the swing point high, and there's the pivot point swing that we're going to use for it. So I have the Andrews Pitchfork tool selected. Hit it once, hit it twice, there's the third time. So let's see what price does off of this. Goes up there, hits the median line, and then it breaks out of it right there. So went up a little bit, and so that's for that trend right there. But that's basically how I draw it when looking for a trend. Now let's go over here. We'll look for a short. We'll use this Let's kind of swing over here. Let's see what it looks like. There's the high, medium, barely hits at 76.4, but just enough. That's perfect. There's a pivot point high, pivot point low, and there's the pivot point swing. So let's put 3 dots on there. 1, 2, 3. See, price came down, took it all the way down the bottom, came back up off of it right there, and still went through it some. And it continued to going down lower and lower and lower. So that's how I look for it when I'm using the Fibonacci, or using Fibonacci to discover the pivot points and to draw it using the Andrews Pitchfork. Now, to be honest, I prefer the Schiff Pitchfork, S-C-H-I-F-F, but I know a lot of people use Andrews. That's definitely the most popular one for it, so that's one I'm going over first. When I go over one of my other trade steps I use, which is a springboard reversal, I'll show how I use the Schiff Pitchfork, because it is one of the criteria I look for as far as the median line goes for the pitchforks. But right now this is going to be all about Andrews Pitchfork. So one other thing I want to show, because this video is going to go along with the blog post, is I want to show one potential trade setup that you could use for it. Now, I don't use it because I've looked at it a lot, but I haven't been able to figure out, for me personally, how I would utilize the stop losses if I do use a stop loss. So that's the one thing holding me back from using this right now. So basically how it goes is the same type of setup as looking for a trend. There's the high, there's the low right down here, there's the pivot point swing. So then I would take it over here, draw the Andrews Pitchfork. Okay. Now what we're looking for is, after we get all 3 of those drawn that meet my criteria over here, what we're looking for is pretty much on all pitchforks, the biggest thing you'll read in all the books and in the training videos you see is the median line. That's where all the magic happens. That's where all the action is. Basically everything is based off of that. And so we're going to use the same thing here. So when price comes down, hits the median line, that signals to get into the trade. So let me just highlight that right there. That signals to get into the trade. Then the exit of what we're looking for would be the bottom of this blue line right here. So when price comes down, hits the red line, which is the median line, that gets us in. The exit down here is the bottom of that. So that trade right there would have been pretty much a picture perfect trade for how it works. Now obviously this does not work 100% of the time, but there is a high percentage that it does work. The only thing I struggle with figuring out, which I'm going to need to do some more meditation to figure out how it's going to work for me personally, the way I trade, what I'm looking for is the exit level. If I'm going to use a stop loss, because let me show you some times where it doesn't work. Let's see here. We'll try to see if we can find some. Never had any. I didn't go down low enough at all. No big deal. See if that, yeah, that one will have right there. So not a problem. Oh, the computer froze up. There we go. Goodness gracious, dude. Come on. Alright, so using that for this pivot point low, that high, and that one right there. Here would be a loss right here, or the way I was thinking about doing it. So there's your pivot point low, pivot point high, pivot point swing, came down and hit the 76.4. We'll just double check and make sure. Yeah, came down and hit it, so it's legit. Price comes up, hits the 50%, that gets us in the trade right there. So then the X we're looking for is whenever price hits the upper channel of the Andrews Pitchfork, that would get us out. So it does eventually hit it up here, but the issue I have, which is the reason why, again, I'm not taking this yet, is I'm not sure where I'd have my exit. Would I have my exit somewhere down here at the, if it hits the bottom of the trend channel, would I get out? Would I have it below the entry bar, which would be this bar right here? And that obviously would have taken me out. Or would I have it just, or would I have my exit below the pivot point low? To be honest, I don't know. It's still some things I'm looking at, and if I'm going to use the a stop loss for it as well. But that is basically how it works. What I'm looking for. What most books look to do is they have a rule where 8% of the time price will go hit the median line. When it doesn't hit the median line, then it should do signal reversal the other way. it does happen. I'm not sure if it's 80% of the time as much as they're saying for it, and it was a way I was looking at trading. Obviously I was looking for using it as like a reversal for when price doesn't hit the 50% line, that it'd be reversal, and look to short it if you're going long, or long if you're going short the other way. So it's called the Hapagon rule, I believe is what's called a Hapagon, somewhere name like that. But basically I just want to create a quick video to show how I'm looking at the pitchforks right here. I'm looking to trade them, and basically the biggest thing, I hope you can have, like, see right here for instance, like so this is a rule right here of the pitchfork. If you use that low, high, that one right there, I don't know if it's 76.4 or not, but just for the sake of using this thing right here, just for the sake of using this thing right here. So you see price came up, never hit it, broke out of it, and so what that's supposed to signal right there is that's supposed to be the reversal, and it's supposed to move on. But as you can see, it kept on going up. So obviously that rule doesn't work every time, but pretty much everything comes down to the median line. So it's basically just how I want to show you how I get set up. I look for price coming back, retracing back to the 76.4 Fibonacci retracement level. Once it does that, I'll go ahead and mark the pivot point low, pivot point high, and then pivot point swing, and then from there I will draw my Andrews Pitchfork, and that's what I'm looking for as far as seeing if I can get the trend. Sorry, mine's drawing a blank. Now obviously if I was looking for this for a trade right here, that'd be the signal bar right there. As you can see, price never went up and hit the upper trend channel of it up there. Eventually did go up, would have been a nice gainer, but again, something I need to look at to see if which way I'm going to do it. But anyways, hope that helped. That's why I do it. Hope that was simple enough. Try to keep everything simple for my trading. If you'd like to see me go over anything else, feel free to let me know. This is Evan Carthy. Have a great day. Bye.